Hello, everyone. It's Lisa Williams, Chief Inspiration Officer here at Perfect Side Gigs. Welcome back to our virtual interview series, Corporate to Entrepreneur. We are hearing from some of the top business builders in our communities today about what they're doing in their world that's helping others and helping them find their true joy and passion. And I'm so excited about our speaker today, Mr. Nick Santonastasso. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Did I pronounce it right?
That was perfect. That was great.
Okay, awesome. So I was so fortunate to have the blessing to see Nick speak in January. And I want to tell our audience a little bit about this young man. He was born with no legs. He was born with one arm, with one finger that he'll point to us, I'm sure. And regardless of those things, he's, just gone on to be a business builder, a bodybuilder, a coach, just an inspiration to others and a blessing in a lot of people's lives. So I want to start, Nick, by just asking you, you shared at the engagement that I saw you at that your folks, they quickly, I don't know when in your life, they said to never say the word can't, because that immediately halted your brain from literally trying to figure out how. So yeah. I think, to our audience, I would love to hear some wisdom for you about if they are feeling in a stuck place and maybe they feel like they can't shift out of corporate to find that joy. What would you say to those people?
Yeah, absolutely. What I would say is, that we were talking about the word can't and how, and how we need to be very conscious of our language. This isn't just mindset mumbo jumbo and unicorns and fairy dust, but the word can't is not only disempowering, but it blocks your brain from stimulating solutions. And so, one of the things that my parents, engraved in me was it's not can't, but how. But what's even more powerful than the how is your why. A lot of the times humans and entrepreneurs, we go through, our day-to-day, we get caught up in the day-to-day motions and we forget, why we wake up every day. And so, I'd really like to challenge the audience right now is really asking yourself, why do you get up every day? Why do you do what you do? Is it to be, become a better mom, a better dad, a better friend, a better leader? Is it to provide financial freedom for your family, for yourself? Do you want to take your mom to Egypt? Do you want to take your dad to Alaska? Like, what as it may be, because when the why is powerful enough, when the why is crystal clear and it really pulls you, the how will reveal itself. Oftentimes there's a lot of things that we don't really know how to do, but the most successful people, they don't really always have the hows, but they have this massive mission, right? They have this massive thing that's pulling them. And so, why do you do what you do? And if that's powerful enough, then the how will reveal itself. But I'd say take the leap. Because I always say I'd much rather be in the trenches. I'd much rather be falling on my face, pursuing something that I enjoy and trying to create a life that I enjoy rather than, doing something that I'm not. Because the fact of the matter is there's a lot of people that are on this world that are living but really dead, right? Because they're not, really pursuing their passion, or they're not doing something that fulfills them, not doing something that fires them up. And, there's really two ways that you could be pushed to do something, right? You can be pushed, right? There's a lot of things that we're like, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that, and you're being pushed, and it's just like, it's not very motivating. Or you can get pulled. You can get pulled by something. And so if you get clear in your why, if you get clear in your vision and something that's so like juices you up, right, that pulls you, the how will come. But I would say take that leap, because you owe it to yourself to build a life that you enjoy. Like, we all have our own unique strengths. We all have our own unique superpowers. And it's just really harnessing those and seeing how we could provide massive value. And to add on top of that, I know I'm just going off on a tangent here, but to add on top of that, I'd like to ask, are you falling in love with the product or the service that you're creating? Or are you falling in love with your customers' needs?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you seem to constantly be coming up with new ideas. And I'm curious, what would you say to people that have an idea and they honestly just have no idea what to do with it? Like, how do you vet your ideas? Do you have a process that you go through?
Yeah. So, and instead of asking yourself, what do I need to do? ask yourself, you know, what's the outcome? You know, what's the outcome? Like, what do I have to do, or what are the steps for me to get this certain outcome? And make that outcome, you know, motivating, make that outcome inspiring. You know, for me, like creating Junior Victorious, I was like, you know, I gotta study email and sales copy so I can write copy that changes kids' lives, right? That's a lot more compelling than saying I gotta study sales copy or I gotta write emails, right? Like, so you want to make it pulling, but instead of asking yourself, what do you need to do? Be like, what's the outcome and why am I doing it? You know, what is my purpose around it? And also this, you know, Tony, I'm grateful to be in proximity of Tony, but he has this quote and he says, being complex is the enemy of execution. And so, you know, keep your things simple. You know, a lot of the times your brain goes 1, 2, 3, and many, right? We can only really, you know, really focus on a couple things. And so what are like your must? Like, what are the 3 things, the 3 power moves that you can make today that is going to move that needle forward? And if you don't hit them all, just do it tomorrow. Don't beat yourself up, but at least you're progressing and you have an outcome, you know? And so that's something that I've been doing myself, is saying, you know, rather than what do I need to do, what's my outcome? You know, what's the outcome that I need to focus on? And so that's what I would say, but keep it simple, because our brains, especially dudes out there, we can only focus on like one thing, right? And so I would say keep it simple. Don't put, you know, 10, 15 things on your list of outcomes. Just put 1, 2, 3, 4 things that you can focus on day to day.
How do you, that leads me to, I think about this all the time. I feel like people with ideas, they have sleepless nights. We don't sleep because we're worrying. We sleep because literally we can't stop our brains from going. What do you do to capitalize on that moment in your world, that you can take action and not lose sleep and just become a zombie? You know?
Yeah. I would say, you know, write it down, get it out of your head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get it out of your head, because in those moments you're flowing, right? And then some of us for like that are night owls. I'm a night owl. Like, I'm more creative at night, and like I got ideas flowing. Like you said, sometimes I can't go to sleep. Like, get it out of your head. You know, get out of your head and write it down. And, you know, anything that comes to you in that moment, just write it down and then put it away. And now it's out of your head and you don't need to remember it, right? It doesn't take up space and it clutters your brain. But now you got it on the paper and you're going to feel better, because you're like, I wrote down all that, you know, all that was flooding and all that was channeled to me in that moment. And also, you know, I would also suggest, especially in the time that we're in now with this craziness, is, you know, stillness is really important. You know, really scheduling time to be still, you know, time to not focus on anything, because a lot of us are go, achieve, right? And we forget to really set out time for ourselves. And I think we need that, whether that stillness is meditation, whether that stillness is just not moving and not thinking about anything and maybe sitting in the sun. I mean, for me, right, you know, in the public eye, I'm an extrovert. I'm on stage. I'm like, hey, you know, I'm Nick Santonastasso, right? But how I recharge is I need to be by myself. Mm-hmm. You know, I need to be by myself, just stillness, not moving. And, you know, my form of vacation these days is like sitting in one place and not being able to move, you know? So this quarantine is kind of like a vacation for me, because I'm not on planes all the time. But I would say schedule time for stillness for yourself, because, you know, give yourself that gift of just being a human being. You know, another thing, like a lot of us, we wake up and we immediately check our phones. You know, we immediately check our phones and our texts and our emails. And oftentimes, right, we can get triggered by a text or an email, and it sets you off this downward spiral. And so I would say maybe in the morning, you just give yourself 10, 20, 30 minutes of not looking at your phone and just being one with yourself, you know, breathing, going outside, getting some fresh air, and then get, you know, you give your time to your mind to get ready to get into the day. But, you know, a lot of times from the moment we wake up, we're in it, right? And so I would say stillness is very important. And then just to add lastly is get your body moving, you know, in any sort of way, you know, whether that's, you know, doing some sit-ups or push-ups or walking, taking a walk, but especially this time we're stuck in the house, schedule, you know, 15, 20-minute intervals throughout the day where you're getting your body moving and you're changing your state. Because a lot of the times, you know, we're sitting and, you know, we're in the house all day, and then, you start to slump and your head goes down and you're talking monotone, and, you know, you don't really realize that you're in this low energy state. And so I would say, you know, get your body moving, because It's even like a workout or a walk. You may not want to do it at first, but what do we always say afterwards?
Yeah,
I feel so much
I'm
better.
so glad. I love that you said that. My husband and I have been doing these exercise videos. Talk about a way to laugh in the morning when you watch your husband trying to do a dance
Yeah,
video or something, you know.
absolutely.
I love your physicality. I mean, you just have a presence about you. You're just walking across that stage. You mesmerized all of us. You had a time that you shared that you wanted to wrestle, and you literally amputated your arm to enable your body to do that. So one thing I find is a lot of people want the things that successful people have and the life, but they're not willing to do the things that successful people do. So what would you say, what's the reward that people would find if they did give something up for their dreams?
Self-integrity. Self-integrity, and that's a synonym for confidence. I think we can all agree that all human beings struggle with confidence, at least, in certain areas of their life. And we need to realize that when we commit to things and we don't follow through, which we all do, I do, I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, we all have done things, but there's an underlying issue. And that issue is every time that we commit to something and we don't follow through, we diminish our work ethic, we diminish our self-integrity, we diminish our word, right? As humans, one of the most powerful things that we think is most important is our word within ourselves. And I've created this guy you see. I've created this guy by committing to things and following through, by keeping my word within myself, by building this character. Because, with that wrestling story, I was a kid that was like, where's this confidence thing? I don't have legs. I don't have confidence. I guess I just wasn't born with it. Right. But it's a muscle. It's a muscle like everything. And you need to cultivate that muscle by committing to things and following through. And another reason why is because humans love progress. Humans love the feeling of moving forward. And a lot of the times my darkest and deepest days come for the days where I didn't evolve, I mean, it's the universal law, right? It's aggressive, but you're either growing or you're dying. And so, you need to build momentum in your life. And how you build momentum is let's commit to some small things. It don't have to be massive things, right? But let's commit to small things, getting up 30 minutes earlier, or maybe going on that walk, with your husband every day, or listening to a podcast or an interview like this a day, but something that's going to spark that feeling of progress, because we feel so much better when we move forward. And also, we've all had days where we get more work done in 2 hours than we did, a whole week sometimes, right? Because we're dialed in and we're passionate about it and focused. And so I would say, the separations and the preparation, really block off time for your outcomes, block off time and schedule things, right? Like having a dream is great. Having a vision is amazing. Having some goals is cool too, but until you schedule it and write it down, then it becomes real, right? Then it becomes like it's going to get done. But I love progress, and all humans do. And so, take that leap. And and also this, because this is another topic that I was just talking about with my buddies, is make sure you really get clear on what success is to you. Mm-hmm. Like what is your definition of success? What does success look like for you? Listen, if your definition of success is working a 9 to 5 and having the white picket fence and a dog, like do that. Like no one's hating on it. Like I want you to do that. And if your definition of success is to ride around in a Ferrari and own the jet, do just that. But make sure that your definition of success and your vision of success is really aligned with who you are and what you want. Because I'm guilty of, having other people's vision of success kind of, water down mine or change mine. And I kind of got off course and thinking I'm doing things wrong and I'm not good enough because I'm not doing this, this, and this, and this. And so I would say, really define what success is for you. If success is, working that 9 to 5 and working on your passion and your dreams afterwards, then you do just that, but I would say start there, because at the end of the day, happiness, which all human beings are chasing, we all want to experience more happiness. Happiness is how you feel when no one's around. And so what are the things that you can really experience more happiness in your life? Is that dancing? Is that knitting? Is that crochet, playing tennis? I don't know what it is for you, but do something that is going to make you, feel more happiness.
You do a lot of things. You speak, you are a model, you, are you an actor as well? Did I see something about
Working on it. Yeah,
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 it's
yeah.
on the list.
What brings you the most joy?
Oh, that's a great question.
Sorry.
You okay?
Interview
Um,
faux pas.
no worries. What brings me most joy is spoiling and giving those closest to me experiences that they don't think they'd ever have in their life.
Oh, I
Like,
love that.
I,
I saw your visit to Alaska with your friends. I'm from Alaska.
awesome. It's
Where
a hidden
where were
gem. So
you?
it's a
Where were
hidden
you?
gem. So maybe we shouldn't talk about how amazing Alaska is.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Where were you in Alaska?
I was in Girdwood.
Oh yeah.
So there's the famous resort Alyeska, the Alyeska
I
resort.
grew up skiing there. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
that's where we stayed, and that was for a cover of a modeling thing. And
Okay.
so, yeah, but like you said, what really fills me up is not only spoiling those around me and giving them experiences and things that they never think they can have, but pursuing things that I'm passionate about. Like right now, like I'm in my closet, but it's now a studio. Like I just spent a lot of money in building a music studio because literally 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old Nick had a burning passion to be a singer and an entertainer. But I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the character. I didn't have the will and the ability to see proof of concept. And, so now I'm at a point where I built this character and I'm like, I can do whatever I want, and now I'm at a liberating place too, because my mindset has evolved and I'm like, well, music is an opinionated game. There's always going to be people that like your music and there's always going to be people that don't like your music. But if I'm in this liberating spot where I post music because it makes me feel good, then I can't lose.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I would say, for me is just like when I was talking about, what is your why? And I mentioned, is it to take your mom to Egypt? Is it to take your dad to Alaska? Those are mine.
Yeah.
Those are mine. I'm taking my dad to Alaska in August for a fishing trip. And, I plan on this year somehow creating a way where I can take my mom to see the pyramids in Egypt. And I want to do it too. So, it works.
Yeah.
But those are the things that are going to give me joy. And I think as humans in general, whether your parents are around or not, at one point in our life, our goal was to just make our parents happy, make our parents proud of us. And so, I'm at this point where, I feel like the last piece of the puzzle for me, in my family bucket is being able to retire my parents out here in Nevada. Like here, mom and dad.
Where are they now?
They're in New Jersey with all my other family.
Okay, got it. That's a great segue into a question. I believe that, I think you and I agree, there's a lack of joy in a lot of people, kind of a settling in corporate America. And I feel as though we're bringing it into the next generation. And I'm curious, I know you have a passion for youth and you have a fabulous program you're putting in place now that we'll hear more about, but I mean, that's huge. We're creating I think a generational sadness in some ways. So how would you, what advice would you give to those parents out there that maybe are just on that wheel and they're just doing the same old thing and telling their kids it's okay?
Yeah. First, let me start off by letting everyone know that I am not a parent nor a parent expert, and this is just my personal perspective and my personal thoughts on things, right? Because I've been labeling myself not as a parent expert, but just mindset coach for the youth. But the question, and this is brotherly love, people. This is coming from a brother to a brother and a brother to a sister. But what kind of example are you setting for your kids? What kind of example, like when they see your relationship with your spouse, what do they see? Do they see happiness or do they see fighting? Do they see pissed off? What do they see? And then, do they see mom and dad just work because they have to?
Mm-hmm.
Or is mom and dad really pursuing something that they enjoy? So really, what is the example you're setting for your kids as parents? You're literally cultivating your kids' mindset through your actions, through your words, the way you talk on the phone, the way you hold the door, listen, you may not think your kids are listening, but they're always watching.
Mm-hmm.
They are always watching. And so I just, I challenge you with the question of what kind of example are you setting and what are the ways that you can show up more and lead by example? Because a lot of times, right, if even in my situation, if I'm trying to get through to someone and it's just not hitting, then I'll just go ahead and lead by example because it's a lot more powerful. For example, picking up trash. Like, say we're in the house and, you know, I'm trying to get someone to be more clean, you know, and pick up the trash, and they don't do it. Well, next time they see trash and they see me there and they see a man with no legs and one arm jump out of his wheelchair, pick the trash up and put it in the trash can, are they going to pick the trash up more?
Sure,
Yes.
I hope so.
Exactly. Right. But the question that, you know, we leave on is like, what example are you setting for your kids? So how can you show up, especially in this pandemic time? This gives you a time to be more present with your kids. This gives you a time to evaluate your weaknesses in your family bucket and really focus on those. This gives you a time to, you know, better the relationships and nurture the relationships and show up. And also, you know, are you getting up and are you in the same clothes every day? You know, are you getting up and you're getting dressed like you're going to work? Are you doing your makeup? Are you putting on your clothes? Like, you know, because listen, there's going to be two outcomes, you know, coming out of this pandemic and this quarantine. One, you're either going to be fatter, lazier, and you know, less fit mentally, or you're going to be fitter, you're going to be stronger, you're going to have more growth, and your blade is going to be sharper rather than dull. And your kids see that. And so if your kids see you, you know, waking up and you haven't shaved and, you know, you're in the same sweatpants for the 3 days, like, they're going to say mom and dad are taking their foot off the pedal. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know? And so really just what example are you setting for your kids with work? What example are you setting for your kids in relationships and finances? I mean, you are their mirror.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, your parents sound amazing. I would love to meet them sometime. What advice would you give for people that maybe don't have a great support network or role models or mentors in their life?
Absolutely.
How could
We
you
have
help those people?
we have an amazing thing called the internet nowadays. And I don't say that in a funny way, but, you know, model people who have what you want. Model people who align with your core values. Someone that you're like, I want to be like that person, or I want to have a part of that person. And now we can, you know, listen to their YouTube videos. We can listen to their content. We can read their books. We can send them messages, and sometimes they'll answer. But if you don't have people around you in your environment, create that, you know, through what you're consuming, because your mind is a garden, right? If we don't tend that garden, weeds are going to grow. And so, you know, if you don't have that environment, you know, create it through virtually. You know, that's, you know, the internet can be a very bad place and it can be a very amazing place depending on how you use it. Right. And so now in the times, you know, kids are either consuming a bunch of YouTube and nonsense and useless value, or they're consuming content that is, you know, moving them in the right direction, but that's really up to them or the parents on what they're consuming. And so, you know, find someone who resembles who you want to be. You know, like, who do you want to be in a year? Who do you want to be in 6 months? Who do you want to be in a couple months? Like really get clarity on your character and like who you want to be, like your superhero, your avatar, right? And like, go find someone who resembles it, you know, and talk like them, you know, walk like them. Like, what do they do? You know, what are they listening to? And that's what I'd say, because, you know, a lot of the times it's really hard because some of your family and friends don't support your vision, or they're not growing the way you are growing, right? And we don't have to necessarily cut them off, but we do something that I've learned is loving from afar. You know, loving from afar. And what that means is you don't give them as much energy as you give your mentors or your, you know, the people that are really inspiring you to grow. Like, who's your front row? You know, who's your front row? Who's sitting in the front row of your life? Those are the people that are inspiring you, motivating you, really getting you to take action. And then who's in the second row? You love them all, but you just give the others a little less energy because they're not growing the way you're growing.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have those in your life that are people that you're paying for coaching? I mean, I always believe in investing in yourself. Is that something you do as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been blessed because I live with my team, right? So we're constantly we're constantly accountable and we're constantly on the same page. But they're, you know, when I talked about modeling, you know, model people who are successful or align with your core values, and don't model too many, just pick 2 or 3. And so my 3 actually is Tony Robbins, Ed Milet, and Andy Frisella. And, you know, these are just 3 people that I model, that I want to be like, or, you know, I learn from. And, you know, like I said, you don't want to pick too many, but yeah, get someone in your life that can hold you accountable, that can, you know, really push you, because sometimes it takes a different person from a different walk of life to really break through to you.
Yeah.
really break through the barrier that we all have around our perspective. And, even for the parents, it's like the Charlie Brown syndrome, right? Your mom tells you to do your homework and it's not cool. And your dad tells you to do your homework and it's not cool. And then Uncle Nick comes over and suddenly doing homework is the greatest thing on earth because it took a different person to really break through to you. So yeah, I would suggest, invest in yourself and invest in people that want to see you genuinely play at the highest level and hold you accountable to that. Because, accountability groups is not only people that love on you, but they push you when you need to be pushed.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Ed's an amazing mentor. Are you in Arate with him and Andy?
Yeah, I'm tapped into the Arte, and anytime they need me to serve, I did some group calls with them as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just, Ed, like literally when I saw Ed, I said, hey, can we kidnap this guy? Can I put him in my pocket? Can he live with me? This guy's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's because you can feel him and you can feel how genuine and authentic he is. And his core values align. And so I don't really mess around with anyone in my personal life or business that doesn't align with my core values, no matter how great the impact is, or no matter how great the financial return is. If they don't align with my core values, then I'm not interested.
Yeah. I love how he has this idea that we're all meant to be a certain person, and he wants to meet his identical twin when he's in heaven.
Yeah.
Not be a stranger to that person, So I know we're running out of time. I have a couple more questions. I know you don't have children now. I don't know if that's in your future, if you've thought about that, but I think you'd be a great dad, by the way.
Thank you.
But I'm curious, if you didn't have anything that, your future self, you are a dad, if you didn't have anything monetarily that you could leave your children, but you could leave them advice, or some nuggets, what would that be for you?
Yeah. I think I'm a walking testimonial of my quote that says, it's not the physical body that holds us back, but the biggest disability you can have is a bad mindset. And so, the biggest and baddest people are crippled and handicapped by their operating system, by their programming. And also I'd say the reason why I had so much growth in my life is because I'm a student of the game. And being a student of the game requires you to drop your ego, push it aside, and realize you only know what you know. And you listen to everything with an open mind, whether it's the janitor, the CEO, a 23-year-old, whoever it may be, but you listen to everything with an open mind. And, you even, constructive criticism, your ego gets hurt a little bit, but we need that sometimes, right? We need that little push. And I hated constructive criticism, by the way. And then I opened myself up to it and had massive growth. But I would say, be a student of the game and, solution oriented. My parents programmed me at an early age by, putting challenges in front of me. And that got me, one, comfortable with being uncomfortable, which we can all exercise that muscle. And two, focus 10% of your energy on the problem and 90% the rest on the solution.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many people are focusing on the problems. And then where your focus goes, you magnify the problem. And then it become way bigger than what it really is. And, you amplify it and we freak out and we get stressed. And so I'd say, spend 10% of your energy focusing on the problem and 90% on the solution. And even if the solution isn't always right, the win is really getting your brain designed to focus on solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to hear what you're excited about right now. And there's also kind of a complimentary offer you wanted to make to our guests as a kind of a conjunction to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited about music. I'm excited about, I'm finally in a place where, I've realized that I know I can become an entertainer and a singer and a rapper and tour the world. And, I want to, because I've realized that only a small percentage of the world goes to personal development seminars. But how do we move the masses? How do we get to the youth? Music, right? So if I can put subliminal messages in my music and, plant seeds in my music that kids are vibing to, but I'm really teaching them something that can shift the culture. And so I'm excited about that because, I've already created it, the studio here, over here is the speakers and all the setup and all that stuff. And so that fires me up. And then, my energy has shifted a little bit to, sharing with the youth, giving the youth my victorious mindset, because the greatest gift that I can give the world before I go is trickling it down to the future generations. Mm-hmm. And so we've created Junior Victorious, which is a 52-week curriculum on life skills, on emotional awareness, on physical health, mindset, everything that I've accumulated over the 23 years of my life put into this program. where, you know, for example, the acronym is Victorious, right? So the first month the kid goes through his V, and the V stands for vision. So during that month, when that month is over, that kid's going to know why a vision is important to them. They're going to create a compelling vision for their future, the actionable steps to obtain that vision, and how they communicate that vision to other people. And so every week, every Sunday, I send out a mini video lesson to the kid or a kid you care deeply about. There's a private Facebook community for the parents to create a community for parents, and, you know, group coaching if they want that as well. But we're going to give a free trial, you know, whether
I
that's
love
14
it.
days or 30 days free trial to your people.
When are you launching that, Nick?
It's launched. There's
Oh, it
kids in it
is.
right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, this is perfect timing
Yeah.
then. Yeah. Okay, super. Oh
Yeah.
my
So
goodness.
that we sent you the link. It's mindofavictor.com.
Okay.
And then they can get their free trial.
Okay, super. Well, you have been amazing. I so appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Likewise.
And
You got it.
I'm excited. Just thank you, our listeners and our viewers, to be tuning in to Nick's Genius. You are helping a lot of families, so thank you for your service. And everybody tune in next time. I'm not sure who we have up next, but there's just amazing, lovely people that we're getting to share a little bit about their world. So bless you all in your life journey. Bye, Nick.
Later.